Welcome to the Dawn Osborne Show, Limitless Life. The big question women like you and I ask is, how do we do that? How do we have a growth mindset? How do we increase our emotional intelligence? How do we do life, business and marketing, and yet still remain balanced in the rhythm of our life and our family? Those are the questions that this podcast will answer. My name is Dawn Osborne, and welcome to my Limitless Life podcast. Good morning, everybody. This is Dawn here from Wow Women, and we have got a super special session with you today with the most amazing woman that I have met. We encountered each other a few months ago, and I just loved her. She's just full of life, energy, pizzazz, and I was like, I need to know more about this woman. She's an absolute sales gun. She's an entrepreneur, and I thought we'd just take a different kind of feel for Wow Women today. And I wanted to help some business women out there, some entrepreneurs, especially if you're in sales. Obviously, sales has been a male-dominated world, and I feel like this woman, she can really bring some pizzazz to the world of sales for you guys. So if you know of any entrepreneurial women, even men, you know what, they can come and get some wisdom too, right? So even men can just come and listen to this girl. She's powerful. I love her, and I'm just gonna bring her in right now. Hello, Renee. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm really excited about some stuff you're going to share with us today. So I was just telling the audience, you're kind of like this, dynamo sales woman. You've been on TedX talks as well, which is pretty impressive. So you are a woman of action, and you are obviously moving and shaking over there in the US. Whereabouts are you from in the US?
Yeah, I was born and raised just about an hour north of Manhattan, and I've lived in Detroit in Michigan for almost 20 years now.
Oh, wow. I love America. I absolutely love
so
it.
Big, so huge. I mean, also huge as well, but
it is
so different in every region.
Yeah. And it's just, and I love the Americans, just such big thinkers, and you like have this can-do attitude, and you just don't talk about it, you make it happen. And I love that. So tell us about your 90s journey, moving through the sales world. Like in the 90s was a very different world in sales. I actually was thinking about this. I captured this vision of Melanie Griffiths in the movie Working 9 to 5, where she was this nobody, and she kind of made it up in a men's world, made it up the corporate ladder, and obviously she gets her corner office. And as I was talking to you, I was thinking that that's what it felt like, your journey. So could you share it with us, your journey of how you've got to where you've got today?
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. Absolutely. I graduated university, and literally 5 days after I graduated, I was hired into a sales company, and we were selling everything for golf courses. We were the hired gun. We were the outsourced sales company that a golf course could hire, or what I ended up working on was SkyTel Sky Pagers, cutting edge telecom technology at the time. They were the first alphanumeric pager. And I ended up in the Manhattan territory. And what I learned, I was the only woman in the office. And I learned, the Zig Ziglar, the Dale Carnegie, the Tony, the male-dominated, male-driven sales techniques.
Right.
And I could deploy them. I mean, I have chutzpah, but it didn't feel in alignment. And at the time, as a 22-year-old, I didn't really use those terms, but it just didn't feel right. So, I'm also a bit of a rule breaker. I like to do and then ask for permission later. And so I broke a few of the Bible rules that my sales team was, imposing on me. And I got huge success. I got here was me, and then here was everyone else. Everyone else was making like half of what I was making. They were like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll tell you what I'm not doing." And it shook them to the core. And ultimately, they ended up giving me my own opportunities to run my own sales teams, and they kept giving me the women to train. They're like, you take the women. And I think at first it was a bit disparaging, like, you take the women, you take them to the coffee shop or whatever. But really, we ended up being a freaking force of nature. And they were like, whoa, like an undeniable. You couldn't deny that we were breaking records.
That's awesome.
That was really that set the tone for the rest of my career.
That's amazing, Renee. I love that. And I also know that, the 80% of buyers' decisions is women. So women in sales need to know how to sell to other women. And so we're talking the same language, right? So once you've got this great big team, you've hit success in New York, right? Manhattan. So that's like, one of my most favorite places in the world. And then what happens then? What's the next part of your journey then?
Yeah. Well, the telecom boom happened, and I rode that like a pro. So SkyTel was pagers, right? And so, but it was considered a part of the telecom industry. And so I think luck got everything else came into play, and AT&T hired our company to help them take apart all the baby bells, right? Like Southwest Bell, SBC, all these different baby bells, and I was right at the forefront, right there as the wave. And I was able to buy my own territory, kind of like, nobody else could work here but me. I was able to lease out my own office space, and I got incorporated into my own company, and I just used their contract, and they got a piece of the action. I got the action. My salespeople got a piece of the action. And I mean, we made millions. It was like print and money. It was hand over fist. But here's what we did differently. We didn't go in because the territory that I ended up buying was the Detroit territory. It's not like Manhattan. There's like 7 high rises. There's like 9 million people in the state, whereas the island of Manhattan has 10 million legal residents. And so there's a lot less people here. So I knew walking in that if I wanted to have a long-term sustainable business, I had to treat people a lot differently than we were treating them, than we were told to treat them in Manhattan. And so it wasn't hit it and quit it. It was, hi, we're here, and although we're wearing an AT&T badge, we are their representatives, and you might see again for lots of other offers. So I want you to get excited when you see us walking in your door, because we're going to bring something good to you. Today, it's AT&T. Let me tell you how I can save you money on your phone bill.
Oh, you're selling me already. I'm like, I'm in. Okay, that's all. You're just a natural. You're just a natural. But can you tell me then, share with us obviously you're a woman coming through the 90s, and there's so much controversy around women in leadership, women in positions not being paid correctly. Tell me one of the biggest things that you felt that you've been able to overcome on that journey. Share that with us.
So selling as a woman to other women especially is so different than the way a man sells. Like if you were to lay us down in like an MRI, like as women, our brains light up when we are communing, when we're in a communal environment. Well, men's brains do light up when they are in conflict. Like I have a son, a 7-year-old, who we don't talk about guns or anything here, but I mean, he makes guns. When he was like 3, he'd like make a gun out of his carrots and hummus, What do you got? Gun. Oh, we don't even know where you're. And I'm like, shoot, like blueberries. I'm like, oh, okay. Shoot. Okay. It's just in his nature. We were trying to be super gender neutral and if anything, more feminine, but no, it's in his DNA, right? So that was just example number 1. And for any boy moms out there, maybe you can relate. Even though you're you lay off the heart, the wrestling and all that stuff, they just love it. They just love it. They love conflict. Women, we do not. So as a woman selling to other women and knowing that just physiologically, scientifically, this is what we're working with, how can I communing with someone when I have an offer that has a deadline that they have to sign by a certain time or they'll lose out? I mean, it's real scarcity. It's, there isn't going to be more of this. This is now, whereas a gentleman might present it as like, it's now or never, baby. And in our case, women would say, listen, this is where the benefits are. If you take it, this is what you'll win. If you don't take it, this is what you might lose out on. So this, people have called them like the softer side of sales. I'm still getting the return on investment. I'm still getting the money. I'm still getting them to close, but I'm doing it in a way where they feel in control versus me having to always be in control. I'm not giving, but I'm positioning it. It's kind of like in the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, right? She's like, the men are the head, but the women, we are the neck, and we turn and however we need. So we're the head in the most kind and gentle way, using the right words, the right tonality, and more importantly, the emotional intelligence, which women, we often have very strongly. Intuitive.
Yeah, that's great. And I can hear that that's what you've based, that's where your success has come from, is just doing it differently. So I know you've got some awesome wisdom that you want to share with us today. So number one, what is the number one? So looking at it from a business, you're a businesswoman, you're a sales gun, and you've got lots to share. So we're talking to entrepreneurs right now. So what is the first piece of wisdom that you would want to share with them?
Yeah, own your feminineness. Like, sell as a woman, whether you're selling your services or whether you're selling a house, whether you're in real estate or whether you're a consultant or you're doing done for you services. Sell as a woman. Don't try to be a man, and that could be as simple as how you dress. One of the first things that I changed when I hung up my own shingle and became my own business owner is I didn't need to wear men's clothing anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and that's really what a business suit is, right? It's men's clothing. It's something that someone else designed for a man's body. It's very masculine. Even if you have a very feminine body, it's hard. It masks all that. And so owning it is okay. It's okay. You are who you are, regardless of what you wear. So why not wear the clothes that you feel most confident in? And that could be a disruptive enough to be good and favor you, because nothing sells like confidence. And so a woman selling as a woman and not trying to be someone else will naturally come across as confident. She does feel comfortable in her own skin as herself.
That's great, because some of us do struggle with imposter syndrome because we're actually trying to be someone that we're not. And the moment we make that transference in our own mind that, you know what, I just need to be at peace with who I am as a woman, and this is how I do it. And you like me, love me or hate me, this is who I am. That is breakthrough for any women in any area of their life. When they stop trying to be someone else for someone else, they just be themselves, is liberating. So I love that you've brought that into the sales aspect, because you're right. Be who you are. You're enough. Love that. All right. That's fantastic.
It takes the pressure off.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Love that. Okay. What is number 2?
Yes. Conflict versus community. So the traditional prevailing wisdom is, if you don't sell this way, like Grant Cardone or, the hardcore closers out there, that, hey, they make millions, but they're men selling to men, or they're men selling as men. They love the conflict. Whereas women owning who they are, who truly are able to sell with community, what does that look like? It looks like different phrasing. It looks like different intention. Like, even before we went to live on this broadcast, we set led by you, a very clear, positive intention. And that cleared the space to be able to move forward and truly share openly. So when we go into a sales conversation as women, is to not be afraid to pray or meditate or use crystals or, whatever you want, light a candle or drink some water or do a handstand, whatever it may be, to clear that energy and really truly be able to go in as a communal person. Because when you're communal, it doesn't mean you're weak. Women are the strength of this world. We bore the children. We raise the families. We carry the load. We are strong. So you don't have to pretend to be anything other than we are. We already, like we said earlier, are enough. To sell communally just means to be empathetic, but not sympathetic, right? Like, I understand where you're coming from. I completely get it. And this is why I thought this might be a good idea. So I'm treating the other person with respect. I'm not looking down on them if they don't make the decision I think they should make. Right. Instead, I'm continuing the relationship.
That's really good. That's really good. And like what you said earlier, men's innate nature is, rah, win, 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 power, 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 conflict. And women are probably, a bit more relationship orientated, a bit more community. And I can see how you've got success in that area. That's excellent. So number 3 would be?
Yes. Long-term relationships.
There you go. There you go. Great. It's about relationship. Okay. Share. Tell us.
Women are naturally innate, like we naturally enjoy and are able to cultivate long-term relationships. This goes back to like tribal days, right? Like, when you were either in the tribe and you survived, or you were out and you didn't.
Right.
right? So we were often in those ancient tribes, the leaders. It was the maternal leader. It was, it wasn't paternal. So we were the ones that carried the weight. We were the wise ones. And so somewhere along the way, we might have lost that feeling or that hierarchy. But the reality is there's no better client when you relate it to a sales environment than a referral. I have lots of clients who say, now that they're after working with me, they get more referrals than ever. And they don't really have to do that, hardcore outbound calling like, hey, so do you need what I got? I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're literally women, because we know how to develop those long-term relationships. We're able to put out honey and let the bees come to us and then nurture the hive and grow the hive and not say, I got you, bee, and squish them or drain them of all. You're saying, let's build a hive. Let's get a little bit of honey now and get consistent, sustainable honey throughout. Like, I think the women too, like, we like sustainable things. We like things that will grow and nurture a long time. We're the gardeners, we're the cultivators. So there's no better, in a salesperson's Rolodex, old school wise, or their network is no better place for long-term relationships. So all that referral, all that business that comes back around naturally because we've cultivated it. And so for giving someone the permission to have that long-term relationship, and then giving words to specifically nurture it along, so that it's not just a bunch of wine nights. It's also a bunch of business being done.
Awesome. That is gold. That is gold. And you're right. It is all about relationship. I love it when I see people with social media. I mean, so it's called social media because it's about being social and clearly building relationship. But I see so many people just sales, buy this. And it's like, no, I want to build relationship. It's social media, not sales media. And so I think you're onto something that's, if it's social media, be social, create relationship with potential clients and all that kind of stuff. So that's fantastic, Renee. You have been an absolute delight. Tell us what you do now. So what do you do now? So if anybody who's listened or seen this, wants to get Renee the powerhouse in, a part of their business, can that happen? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. The next best step is to go to my website, and my website is free sales training that I freely give.
Oh, awesome. Love that.
Grab it while it's still free.
What's your...
it's the website is my name. So it's www.renee, ReneeHribar.com. So ReneeHribar.com. And right there on the homepage, you'll see a silly video of me, make you laugh, and I'll give you a little bit of story. And then there's a button to press, and all you have to do is give your email, and it'll come right to your inbox over 4 days to get you to over that hump, to get you to those first few clients while feeling like a real person and not like a salesy, schmuck. So whether it's, whether someone is selling for themselves or whether they're selling for somebody else, these principles that are in that free training are universal. Whether they're using social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, whether you use email or telephones, it is all addressed inside of this free training.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's it, guys. So if you want to get to know Renee more or would like some of her free training, I would go grab it today. And so, I'll add a link maybe after we finish this slide. I'll add a link so that you can go, or Renee can add a link so you can go there direct. But Renee, you have been an absolute pleasure. I love the powerhouse that you are, and I'm sure some of our listeners and viewers would just love, especially women in sales. There's a lot of us out there that are kind of doing it on our own, but I love what you've shared, and thank you so much for joining us. So, hey guys, so thank you for viewing. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week with another wow woman. And in the meantime, you have a super blessed week, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Get a call.